This meeting is being recorded.
What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 72, part two of week two, with the two of us, the two former champions, and my best friend, my roommate here at Bigs HQ, the commissioner, Ben Nisman. Benny, how are you this evening, my friend?
Doing well, my friend. Thank you so much for the intro. Unsurprisingly, another amazing week in the bigs. We've got tie ball games all over the place. We've got insane matchups. And of course, as always, phenomenal comebacks. A lot of that to bring you and more. But first, let me bring to you Joe Schubert. Set the table, my friend.
Let's get going, boys. We are going to kick this thing off with a matchup, Ben, that you personally requested before this week that we were going to cover. And what we ended up with here is a situation where a brand new manager is still undefeated in this league, and Matt Loosee remains at the top of the standings. We end up with a Yeah, I got to figure out in the settings when I share the screen what happens. Anyway, we get a 9-9 tie here between Henry and Matt. Close categories this week. Matt wins by 5 runs, 6 RBIs, 2 1/3 innings, and 5 relief appearances out here. Henry wins by 3 walks by a batter, 3 homers here. The save, 2 home runs given up by a pitcher, and 2 walks by a pitcher. They tied triples, steals, and strikeouts by a pitcher. Not very often we see that particular stat get tied. And I think we were watching it specifically on Sunday, which we'll get to at some point here. We're going to start off with Matt Loosee on his bench this week, Benji. He goes 9 for 34.
You gave me something I can actually do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little better than a 250. I'll go with 258.
265.
Okay.
He had 6 runs, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 8 RBIs, 2 steals, 6 walks, and 14 strikeouts. The 2 steals would have won him the category. The 6 walks obviously would have won in that category, but it's really the 2 steals. And one of them was, in fact, on Sunday. He leaves Josh Lowe, who has a run, a double, 3 RBIs, a steal, a walk. You know, he basically lit it up. His entire outfield and utility spot went 0 for 16 with 6 strikeouts. I have a word here from my researcher. Yikes!
Sure.
His moves this week, the 2 hitters were Josh Lowe and Michael Conforto, and he picked up 3 relievers along the way. Scott Baker, some guy named Wilson, and Carl Edwards Jr., the string bean. Anything excite you there?
Nothing yet.
No?
I think we're going to be getting into the benches that really mattered pretty soon, but we got to
Yeah.
time.
Let's talk about Henry. We'll get to key players after I get to Henry's because this is important here. So Henry's bench this week, Benji.
Here we go.
25 for 84.
Oh no! Wow. Well, it seems like it's around 300. I'll say 302.
298. If you went in the other direction, you would have nailed it.
Okay.
All right. Now, 15 runs, 3 doubles, 5 bombs, 15 RBIs, 5 steals, 2 walks, and yes, 26 strikeouts. Now, runs, RBIs, and steals all would have flipped the category. This is one of the things that you were talking about late in the week. You're saying we're going to be talking about Henry's bench this week. Benny?
Yeah.
Which day would you like me to talk about? Because the only day he didn't have anything on the bench was the light Thursday.
Yeah, I would start with Tuesday. That's the first one that I noticed.
So Tuesday, we have 4 for 18, 2 bombs, 6 RBIs. Cron and Franchi are both on the bench, and Vossler is, in fact, in the lineup. I remember specifically you brought this one up.
Well, one, and it's something that I talked with Henry about. Maybe it's just something that he didn't know when he's learning the game. But Coors Field is a hitter's park, and I feel like in this case, before we even talk about the fact that there's certain guys that he drafted, and this week they were abandoned more than I felt like they should have in this case because it's only week 2, and I guess Henry's been having gut feelings about some of the free agents that have been in free agency that were grabbable, and maybe seen some success out of them. And that doesn't mean that they couldn't have produced when he played them. Of course, that can happen. And we're seeing with everybody when they pick up a free agent and it clicks immediately. And to an extent, Vossler, he's like what, the cleanup hitter now in Cincinnati?
I mean, he's hitting. He's legitimate. Well, he was anyway. He had 3 bombs. He hasn't had a hit. He had a 2-hit game coming off the bench on the 15th. Otherwise, for his last 8, 12, call it last 18.
Okay. So let's move away from that momentarily, Joe. And we'll see that Cordero, of course, on the bench as well. But the bomb, to me, okay, that one's a little bit harder to get because it's Richard Cordero. Like, who's just like, yes, he's a hot player, and someone say, yes, you got to keep playing him. But okay, he had a feeling for this other guy, Larnock, who's still on his team. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Trevor Larnach. Yeah. What I want to look at here is, now that you bring up Franchi, is the 15th. Is where he plays Franchi in lieu of Will Myers here.
Yeah. Okay. Before you get to that, Joe, I want to give him credit where credit is due, because
absolutely.
if you go to Wednesday, if you could,
I am on the way. What do you got for Wednesday?
I got him putting Frenchie back in and him getting a bomb.
Okay. Yeah, there it is. Solo bomb.
Right. So I respect that he wasn't, flip-flopping again and again. Like, he went back to it. Okay. And it worked. And it could have just as well went 0 for 4. But a lot of his gut has been really good. And specifically, and we'll get into it more, the pitching decisions that Henry made down the stretch saved him this week. But let's get to what you were discussing, because we know there was another rough bench day.
The 15th on Saturday really hurt. When you lose runs by 5 and you somehow leave 8 runs on the bench in a 9 for 15 day where Myers just goes absolutely nuts. I scrolled past it, but it was one of those days where, holy crap. All right, here's Will Myers with the big day, 4 for 5, 2 bombs, 5 RBIs, and Franchi Cordero's in the lineup. I'm not suggesting that you're playing him over Springer, Tucker, or Lubob. You're just not. That's the outfield, and those are your 3 guys.
Right.
But I feel like Will Myers has to be that next guy.
Again, he was drafted. He's playing in Cincinnati, the great American small park.
He just
those things
so
like that. He's got
nicely.
these and he's got these combos like Cronin, Colorado, Myers in Cincinnati at the same time. Like, play them both out the whole week and just see what happens. And if they screw you, they screw you. But those are good plays to have. And he's fortunate that those are guys that are going to have half their ball games in those parks. Not to mention there's going to be times where they're actually in each other's ballpark when they play each other in the National. So
that will be awesome.
Yeah. So there might have been going to the well with, different free agents that he was just having the gut feeling for a little more so than playing his guys. Where are the stolen bases? Because those are actually ones that I missed. And that's maybe another thing that he could have just somehow grabbed.
So one of them was, in fact, here on Friday. So this is another part of that Friday that I wanted to hit on. You'll also notice that on this, was it this Friday? Did I hit it? Did I hit the right date? Oh, it was Saturday. On the Saturday, there's also a stolen base on this bench as well. It comes here from Andres Jimenez, also who he drafted.
Yeah, he's got a lot of guys here because Bryson Stott. I mean, how do you not play that guy? He hasn't,
And especially in Cincinnati, I get it.
Right. It's very tough to get them all in there, and it's, especially because he was playing for all of these categories down the stretch. It didn't seem like any of them were wrapped up,
No.
So, and Saturday, he's not taking RBIs from Jimenez, and he's trying to get that category or lock it down.
Right.
So, I mean, the ones. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna move on to Sunday and the pitching. Go ahead, continue.
No, we should talk about Sunday then. That's fine.
Okay, so Sunday so first of all, his 6 ads for the week were 2 relievers, 2 hitters in Zunino and is it Luis Perdomo or Geraldo Perdomo? The shortstop kid for Arizona right now, and then he made 2 starter ads in Brad Keller and Matthew Boyd. Now, you specifically had something about Sunday for Brad Keller here.
Yeah, it's such a small. It's not even a critique really, because again, Henry tied in strikeouts, right? And we notice now that there are guys on his bench that maybe he could cut to get that extra reliever in there, as he was playing for, or was it Ben tie relief appearances, Joe?
Relief appearances were 5. It was a strikeout, man. We were looking for a reliever to get in there to maybe give him a chance.
No, that's not what it's about. Here's the thing that you were going through. Brad Keller can't even help him that day.
Right.
Because Keller's a starter. So for him to even be in the bullpen, at least he should be benched, just so that spot is there. And as the games are going, maybe he sees that strikeouts are getting close. Here's the thing that he couldn't really afford. It's not like that was the only close stat. Henry had to protect as well.
He had a 2 walks and 2 homers is the cushion he has. And I get that you don't want to push it too far.
Exactly.
Take what you can and run. I'm of that decision.
Yeah.
Certainly of that decision.
Yeah. So you can critique, okay, if he gets that other reliever, there's a better chance. But okay, that guy could also walk 2 guys or just put him in a worse spot. So if he wants to, at that point, just say, I want that category of walks, that's what I would do. I wouldn't necessarily go for that extra thing. But at the same time, if Keller's not in there and he decides the 4:00 games are coming, I feel pretty good right now. He's out of pitchers. I wasn't following the schedule and what was going on with Matt's team at the time. And Henry probably also was trying to do stuff on Sunday instead of just staring at scores all day like some of us do.
Some of us do that. Some of us are ridiculous.
Some or most of us, but regardless.
Let's do key players. Let's jump into key players.
We'll break it down. Okay.
All right. So Matt's key players this week, we're going to start with Brandon Lau. He went 333 with a 417, 6 runs, a double, 3 homers, 4 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and an error. The least valuable player, we're going to call it Starling Marte. They also have Mike Trout written here with the 8 strikeouts, but the 3 doubles I'm going to give him credit for. So it's Starling Marte, 067 with a 222. He did have 2 steals, 2 walks, and the strikeout. Obviously, the steals help, the 3 doubles help, but 067 is just ugly. We just watched Starling Marte get out of an over 11 slump, so that was good to see. For the Cy Young is Julio Urias. 11 and 2/3, a win, a loss, 3 homers, 3 walks, 14 strikeouts, a 231 and a 128. The Cy Young, Freddie Peralta, 5 innings, 5 earned, 5 strikeouts, 2 whip, a walk, and a bomb with the loss. For Henry, Kyle Tucker carried the team again this week, 389 with a 538, a run, a homer, 5 RBIs, 2 steals, and 7 walks without a strikeout.
Sounds like a first rounder to me.
Yeah, definitely. The least valuable hitter is going to be Lubob this week. 125 with a 160, 3 runs, a double, a homer, an RBI, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. The Cy Young is, of course, the Cy Young candidate, Garrett Cole. 16 innings, 2 wins, 3 walks, 13 strikeouts, a 113 and an 063, and a complete game shutty on Sunday just to lock that thing in and say, you're not losing this week, Henry.
Aaron Boone would have just been very angry with you right now because he got furious at the press conference and said it's not a complete game shutout, it's a shutout. Complete game shutout is redundant.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Is it?
But they're 2 different categories.
They are 2 different categories. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Cy Young is Ross Stripling. I'm probably wrong on that dude this year. 3 1/3, a homer, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, a 540, a 120, and a relief appearance, and he is being shipped off to the bullpen. Yeah, he's not good. Benji, what do we got for these 2 guys coming out of week 2?
Well, again, we delved into Henry's bench a lot more than we did Matt's bench. We probably could have dug in a little bit more at the mistakes that he made. Either way, this seemed like a pretty even matchup, incredibly back and forth. Not surprising that it somehow lands in a tie. It was really fun to watch from the outside perspective, and I'm excited for these 2 managers because one, he's never done this, and he's already above 500. What else can you ask for at this point? He had a big first win against Josh Haber. Now in this week he's playing brother Mike Haber. That's going to be a real challenge for him. But
no doubt,
I know that he's learning and he's going through the process. And the more he does it, the more confidence he's going to have with everything he's doing. I think there's going to be more sense in the bullpen as far as everybody needs to serve a perk best on that day. That's okay. They could be on the bench, because you might need them tomorrow, next week, whenever. But in general, like for the bullpen, you typically want everybody to serve a purpose.
Yeah.
And again, if he comes in somehow Keller and then draws 2 walks, I mean, something like that has happened to me before, but it's very, very rare. And I think he had pitched a couple days before. But if Keller's staying on his team, then he keeps him. If not, that guy's dropped the next day, probably. And as far as Loosee, I mean, what else? He texted me that he fucking loves this week, and it meant so much to me because he's definitely putting a lot more into it already than he was going into last year. So I'm proud of that guy as well. And these 2 will go head to head again. And it'll be interesting because the teams will look so much different. They both have learned so much. I mean, this is Matt's it's only his 2nd season. So he's learning, absolutely the same way that a lot of the new guys are. So again, I'm really, really happy to see what's going on with both of them. This was probably my favorite matchup of the week, just based on watching the scores go back and forth. I don't think any others did it as consistently as this one did.
Yeah, this was so much fun. I remember this thing being, fairly back and forth all week, but it was just a slugfest. It was a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be a real nice week that Henry can look back 2 months from now and go, all right, I didn't lose that one, and I've learned a lot because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And those benching decisions happen to everybody.
Yeah,
like everybody gets a gut feeling about a guy.
Wait.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not going to be the last time. Like, and I benched the 3 homer, 8 RBI, 4 runs, 6 hit, whatever it was from Jock Peterson, that one day last year. And it cost me 6 categories. So again, you can't, at the same time, like I do believe that the drafted players in the right ballparks are, for the most part, they're a must play. Like that's something that I think he's just going to learn in time, especially because they're drafted players.
And if that's what you learn coming out of this, and that helps you going forward, awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And again, it's a whole process. It's such a learning experience every single week, every single matchup.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the next matchup here. And this is
I think this one was covered already, Joe. That's okay. No, but it's a great matchup.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, we're back. I had the wrong matchup pulled up and I just paused the recording. So we're going to move immediately into Ari and Adam Lowenstein. What the hell? Adam Lowenstein getting a 10-10 tie in his second matchup with Ari. This guy is crushing it here in the first 2 weeks, Ben. He is annihilating what we thought was a really strong start to the season for him. A 10-10 tie here with Ari keeps him in the top 5. A real nice matchup here, but Ari flipped a ton late. On Sunday, Ari led by the triple. Adam led by a triple. Adam led by a home run. He led by an RBI. Ari flipped that. Ari led by an error. Adam led by 4 ticks on the batting average, and wait until you hear how close that was. Adam had a 4-tick on base percentage lead. Ari had a 1-win lead. They were tied in losses, and Ari took a loss. Ari had the save. Ari had the 1 home run advantage, and he did give up the bomb in taking the loss. Looks like 3 walks for Ari as well, so he was able to hang on to that one. Close categories this week, Ari does win by the RBI. It is the error and 0.00008 on the batting average this week for Ari. A save, a walk by a pitcher, and 4 ticks on the whip. For Adam this week, it is the home run and the loss. They tied in home runs given up by a pitcher. For Ari on his bench this week, Benjamin, not too shabby. It's a 13 for 50.
Okay. 28.
So 13 for 50, you double it, it's 100. It's a 260. 4 runs, a double, a steal.
1:45 in the morning.
That is
1:40 in the morning.
Yep. 13 for 50 is a 260 with 4 runs. Doesn't matter. A double doesn't matter. A steal doesn't matter. And 13 strikeouts. Who cares? Good job, Ari. Great week.
Yeah, especially because he wins batting average. That's the bottom line. That all the hits don't end up mattering.
And he makes no ads all week. His MVP this week is Shea Langoliers, 350 with a 409, 4 runs, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 7 RBIs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. Most of that came against our Mets.
Yeah.
It's annoying. Slightly annoying. Mm-hmm. Least valuable hitter is going to be Josh Naylor this week. 056 with a 136, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. The Cy Young is Luis Castillo, who was perfect into, I think, the 7th at some point. It's a 13 innings, a win, 2 walks, 14 strikeouts, a 138, and an 077. The Cy Yuck, Scott Barlow, 3 relief appearances, 2 2/3 with 2 losses, a save, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 1350, and a 225. On the other side, for Adam Lowenstein, on his bench this week, Benjamin, it's 8 for 28.
Nice. Ooh, 85.
Ooh, 286. He almost had that one. 3 runs, 5 doubles, 4 RBIs, and 4 strikeouts. The 4 RBIs certainly do matter. He's got this catcher tandem that I think is the only thing that we really need to kind of point out, because some days Keibert Ruiz goes off, like on Saturday, he was 3 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs, while Vasquez was 1 for 3. I get playing the matchup.
So hard. And sometimes he plays them both, I've noticed.
But like, that's the only spot that really matters, because he left 4 there. He loses it by 1. The other RBI came on an 0 for 3.
Yeah.
And Yeah.
I mean, anywhere he could stick one hit instead of an over, or one extra hit, he wins batting. So
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
we can break it down all day. All he needs, I'm sure he'll tell you that, oh, it was this guy instead of this guy that I was considering.
Yeah.
And it might be multiple days that happened.
His transactions this week, he drops Eduardo Rodriguez for Ian Jabot. What team?
Oakland.
Cincinnati. Close. An inning, a relief appearance,
Very
2 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 3 whip, and a 9 ERA. He drops Yusei Kikuchi for Chris Bubich, 5 innings, a loss, a homer, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. And he drops Hunter Gaddis for Mike Clevenger, 6 innings, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a 1 whip. He then added Yusei Kikuchi back after his start. So he is back on the roster here. The MVP this week goes to Matt Olson, a 250 with a 357 on base. 5 runs, the triple that won him that category, 2 homers and 6 RBIs, but 4 walks and 12 strikeouts. The 12 strikeouts are pretty hideous. Keibert Ruiz is the least valuable hitter, 214 with a 313, 2 walks, a strikeout, and an error. The Cy Young this week. Hey, Joe Ryan on the Minnesota Twins, throwing 7 innings, a win, a bomb, 10 strikeouts with 1 earned and an 0.43 whip in Yankee Stadium.
Very good.
Great start. Great start. Remember last week we talked about Andrew Bellotti? About that was going to be like his dude for this pen?
Yeah, absolutely.
3 relief appearances, 2 1/3, a bomb, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 16.88 ERA, and a 3.38 whip.
He lost relief appearances, correct?
I believe he also did lose relief appearances. No, Adam won it. Adam won that category by 5.
Okay.
Yeah, he won it by 5. He won it by 5. But yeah.
There's similarities between this team and Henry's team as far as like carrying the big bench, and then also just, I don't know, like it seems like there's a lot of just guys that aren't really giving anything to the team. They're not adding anything. Does that make sense?
They're just carrying empty weight. The 2 catchers for Adam and I guess somebody like Ian Jabot or Andrew Bellotti who have lived on the roster here for a little bit. To a lesser extent, Jose Cuas also fits that bill.
Yeah, these are guys that are interchangeable with a lot of other guys that are out there.
Yeah. But listen, Ari doesn't take a loss here. He's still in the top 5. Adam doesn't take a loss here. He's in the top 5. We've got some interesting.
Already flip all these categories, by the way, on Sunday.
Yes. On Sunday, we see Ari put up a pretty respectable batting number, but that didn't flip anything. It's the pitching that mattered. That was 16 innings, a win, a loss, a save, a win, a loss, a homer, 2 walks, 18 strikeouts, a 2.25, and a 1 whip. Adam benched Yu Darvish, did not get any pitching stats. And therefore, Ari was able to flip innings, got wins, did tie the homers, but did not give up enough walks to lose that category, and dropped the whip enough to get there.
Yeah. Do you think he kind of had balls to pitch that guy on Sunday?
I mean, he threw Shane Bieber in Washington and Luis Castillo at home against Colorado.
I don't know if I could have done it.
Along with Scott Barlow, Chapman, Raley, Poche, like the relief corps.
Yeah, no, there's a fair chance that those guys giving you enough of a good enough ERA and a whip to get you there. But I mean, it took
2
a lot.
walks. 2 walks is what he gave up over 16 innings, and he had a 3-walk lead going into the day. Yeah.
Good for him. I mean, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of both of these guys, but good for my brother. That was running into like 14-5s, 14-7s. I saw 13-8 late. I mean, he never, I don't think he ever had the lead, maybe very early, but to close it up on Sunday, is it more of what he did, or did Adam make the mistake here?
No, that was a ballsy play to throw all of those pitchers up 3 walks. It could backfire in your face, especially if those guys are bad, or you get some bad bullpen play on top of it. It can be
Right.
very, very ugly. It was
Yeah,
a great,
exactly. A bullpen guy could have blown up into space. Exactly.
yeah. A great salvage from Ari here is what I'm saying.
Now, Adam told me that he felt like his hitting shit the bed. Do you see that?
I mean, the fact that he won runs, doubles, triples, homers, steals, walks. He missed out on batting average, but he wins on base percentage. Like,
Right.
you
And
missed
just
out
the
on the batting
RBIs.
average.
Yeah.
Yeah, the RBI by 1.
Yeah.
Your team did what it's supposed to do. You stole 9 bases. You hit 13 doubles, man. This was a good week. This was just fine. Maybe throw your ace on Sunday when you see your opponent throwing both of his.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Don't you see how that's a risk, though? I mean, I totally get it. Like,
Ari definitely took the loss and lost that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No question. And when walks given up are so close, like,
And Darvish
all that
lost
needs
too.
to happen is if Darvish is bad and Ari's guy is good, that's it. Like, you lose so many categories. It's just unfortunate all those things happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Except, like, yeah, the loss could have, if he loses the game. I mean, sure, it would have matched up, but that's a tough
Darvish
play.
did in fact lose that game. He pitched brilliantly, and it was a 1-0
really?
loss. 7 innings, a loss, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts, a 1.29 and 0.86.
Okay, so he dodged that loss. Like,
He
that's
did.
big.
He did. He played
Like,
it. He played it as well as you could expect.
Yeah, I think so.
Well done. Well done. And
Yeah,
you know
good
what?
job.
There's no shame in tying. Hell, there's no shame in losing in this league to anyone. No shame whatsoever in losing to anyone and getting this tie this early. It's a 10-10. Like, that's a good tie.
Yeah. And these are obviously two good managers with very, very different styles and strategies. So far from what we're seeing from Adam, and we know what Ari does. And even that gets tinkered a little bit, but you know what's coming at you when you're playing against Ari.
You also know what's coming at you when you're playing your boy, because I might have figured this thing out now. I might know what team I have now. Let's talk about my matchup this week, Benjamin. Let's talk about 13. Let's talk about this 13-7 win over Josh Haber. And first of all, I want to say a shout out and a gentlemanly thank you to Josh Haber this week. It was a pleasure texting with you all week and talking about this matchup. I always enjoy playing a Haber brother. I especially love beating a Haber brother. This was a fun week. Close categories this week. Josh wins by the triple, the steal, an inning and a third. I'm sorry, an inning and 2/3. No. How about 2/3 of an inning? How about 2/3 of an inning and 3 losses? I won by 4 runs. I won by 4 doubles, 4 homers, an error, 2 wins, 2 saves, and a home run given up by a pitcher.
So really errors and a home run given up by a pitcher as far as the things that are close.
Yeah. I'm just reading what research I got. And we're tied in RBIs. 4. It looks like we have Josh's bench here first. So for Josh's bench, sir, it is 13 for 46.
Nice. $312.
Nah, it's 283. He had 10 runs, 5 of which, and he flips the category. A double, a homer, 7 RBIs as we tied in that category. 3 steals, 6 walks, 15 strikeouts, 2 errors. None of that plays.
Nice.
Yeah. He did have a. Where's the big day? Looks like There's a Thompson homer and a Laureano steal on Tuesday. There's a Dallas Garcia with a steal on Friday. Where are all these RBIs? Oh, there was 5 RBIs on Monday from Castellanos and Rengifo on the bench. That's where they all were.
All
That's
right.
where they all were.
So it turns it from 13-7 to 13.
Right. His moves this week: adds Steven Wilson and drops Chris Bubich. Drops Jerks and Profar for Mitch Keller. 6 innings and no decision. 2 bombs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, a 3 ERA, a 1.33 WHIP at home against Houston. He then drops Keller for Lourdes Gurriel. 3 for 5, 2 runs, a double, a homer, and 3 RBIs. He drops Luis Rengifo for Spencer Steer and outright drops Tristan Casas, his 15th round pick. Guess he's going in another direction at first base. He drops Lourdes Gurriel for John Brebbia, a win, a third of an inning, a walk, an 81 ERA, and a 9 WHIP. But he got a win.
Yeah, not a needed win, though.
No, but annoying.
They'd hurt him more because of the whip. Right.
He picked up Brandon Pfaadt, the former namesake of my team and future ace of the Diamondbacks. He dropped Steven Wilson for JP Sears, 6 innings, 2 homers, 3 strikeouts, a 3 ERA, and 0.76 WHIP on the bench on Sunday against our Metsies. How dare he? And finally dropped Spencer Steer for Seth Martinez, used 8 ads. As key players this week, let's talk about Anthony Rizzo here real quick. I know we were talking once off air about the first baseman you trust, and his name came up here. 346 with a 414, 5 runs, 3 homers, 5 RBIs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. Him specifically, I want to ask you about. Is he that next guy for you after the Vlad, Pete, Freddie, Paul Goldschmidt group?
He's got to be in that conversation. I think you'd throw, wow.
Like Matt Olson and Jose Abreu.
You didn't say Abreu, did you?
Yeah, it's Abreu and Olson are the next 2. I assumed that Rizzo would be at that level for you.
Yeah, I think, but yes, probably a tier down from those 2 guys. But
okay.
And then you throw CJ Cron in there, but I still would think that because of longevity and more body of work, I'd give it to Rizzo.
Okay. His least valuable hitter this week is the catcher Gabriel Moreno, 214 with a 214, 2 RBIs, 5 strikeouts, and an error. It's your catcher. Shit happens. The Cy Young this week, who in the hell is Bryce Elder, and who the hell does he think he is with 11 and 2/3, a win, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts, 231 and a 146. Why? Not right. Tyler Anderson, 4 innings, 2 homers, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 13.50 and a 3 is the Cy Yuck. Not great. Not great. But speaking of not great, Ben, let's talk about what happened on my bench this week. It is 12 for 48.
Wow. I can't. Is it really?
It is.
Okay. It's a perfect quarter.
It is a perfect quarter. That's your second correct guess this year. Obviously, this one much easier than the first one. I left 8 runs, 2 doubles, 6 homers, 13 RBI, a walk, and 15 strikeouts. 15 RBI. And we all know what it was. We all watched it. It was Max Muncy sitting on the bench early in the week when he hit 2 bombs and drove in 7, and then 2 bombs and drove in 4. And not for nothing, I was also benching Jared Kelenic because Grisham was hot. Paredes was hot. Now they're not. The guys are back in the lineup. I have my 9. We're going forward here. Mistake made. I still won the week, and I'm a happy guy. It's annoying. Yeah. It's annoying. This roster isn't what I'd love to have, but it's forming together, and I'm getting a feel for it now.
Yeah, I think 11 home runs when you left all those bombs on the bench. Like, you got basically what you needed. I mean, if you're really frustrated because it's a tie in RBIs instead of a win, okay. Yeah. But can't be too bummed out of it.
I didn't lose the category, and I won the week by 6. I can't complain too hard. Especially in a week where I'm still figuring out my team.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, especially because the last thing that happens, you get to tie that RBI category with a bases loaded walk in the Sunday night game with Brett.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We watched that happen. That was nice. That was nice. My moves this week. I dropped Lane Thomas for Jose Quijada, who might be a closer on the Angels. Maybe. I don't know. I dropped Corey Kluber for Andrew Heaney. 5 innings, a win, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts at home against Kansas City with nothing earned in an 080 whip. I dropped Peter, what's his name, for Alec Burleson. 1 for 4 with a run, the triple, and an RBI and a strikeout. He was in Colorado. Gotta love that. Andrew Heaney gets dropped for Wandy Peralta, an inning, a win, a relief appearance. I dropped Kyle Gibson for Elvis Andrus because I needed a shortstop, as Corey Seager is down for a month now. Yay, fun. Elvis Andrus went 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Dropped Andrews for Jordan Hicks. Dropped Brandon Pfaadt for Matthew Liberatore. I'm realizing that Pfaadt might be a bit behind Liberatore in the timeline of who gets to the rotation first. And I need pitchers as soon as possible. So I get to hold this guy instead. I dropped Hicks for Mauricio Dubon, who is, in fact, going to be the starting shortstop. Dropped Alec Burleson for Carlos Carrasco. 5 innings, no decision, a walk, 3 strikeouts, a 360, and a 1 whip at Oakland. That line does not even come close to the amount of heartburn that this guy caused all of Mets Nation. Am I right?
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it.
Ugh, he is annoying. Wandy Peralta gets dropped for Brent Honeywell, who got me my last relief appearance of the week. And Jock Peterson gets dropped for Zach Neto as the guy who's going to be the backup shortstop. Brent Honeywell gets dropped for Alex Wood for a start next week. It's all 12. My most valuable hitter this week is Jared Kelenic, 462 with a 563, 4 runs, 2 doubles, 2 bombs, 4 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And I benched another pair of homers that he had this week. My least valuable hitter is Jordan Walker. Where's he at? 182, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts. The luster has come off a little bit here. The Cy Young is Paul Sewald. 4 innings, 4 relief appearances, 2 saves, a homer, 7 strikeouts, a 2.25, and an 0.25 whip, with a shout out to Giovanni Gallegos with 4 innings and a win and a save. The Cy Young goes to Taylor Rogers, who, if he wasn't who he is, I would probably drop him right now, but 3 relief appearances in only 2/3 of an inning. He came in 3 times this week. He got 2 outs, 2 losses, 5 walks, a 67-50, and a 9. Gross. Absolutely gross. Benji, what did you see here, my friend?
Obviously, just it was a slobber knocker, for lack of a better term. I mean, you guys were really throwing haymakers at each other. It was exciting to watch. 2 great offensive teams. You know, you bat 266 and you lose to a 285 right over there. You're just like, wow, you know, like you hit pretty darn well and still lost batting average. You still lost ERA. You lost strikeouts and innings pitched by so little, but you snuck in the back door with the walks given up by 4, by home runs given up by 1. You did what you had to do to win saves, relief appearances, grab those 2. You win errors by 1. I thought that was a really, really huge thing that happened. So these like little things that you kind of just grabbed one here, grabbed one there, and that just cemented it because you were slugging consistently throughout this, even with everything on the bench. It was just consistent slugging every day. It seemed like you had at least 1 home run. So that's hard to compete with, like right away. You know, it's. You know, Josh was trying to single you to death a little bit more, but 11 bombs and 11 doubles, and that's going to beat most teams in a week. So, you know, I give a lot of credit to the team that you built here. It's got a lot of balance. It's very interesting. It's very dynamic. Doesn't need to be a ton of stars. You know, it just needs to do damage in a lot of different statistics, and that's what it does. And As far as Josh's team, I love it. Like I actually do love this team. He's just run into two hot teams the first two matchups with Henry and Matt Chapman for the first matchup, and that you between Muncie and Yandy Diaz having the week that he's having, and Paredes here. I mean, you were like you had a couple of guys who were like secret weapons that Josh couldn't compete against, even though he also pitched really, really well. I mean, a sub 3.5 ERA over 57 innings. That's awesome. Like he should have been able to somehow win like home runs given up or walks given up. And you didn't let any of those, you didn't relinquish either of those things. And so I give a lot of credit to both you guys. This was really, really well managed consistently.
The thing that I would like to have back is that Alex would pick up on Sunday. Had I known that 5 hours after when the game in Detroit was supposed to start, that Logan Webb is starting, if that game gets canceled right away, I'm going to pick somebody up to compete in innings. But Logan Webb on the mound in Detroit, he's going 5 minimum. I got to find 5 somewhere. I can't do that.
No,
but I can certainly
all you need to do is find 2 thirds. Yeah, you can find 2 outs.
Yeah, I could have found that, but I had no clue that when that game got canceled. I even texted Josh. I was like, "Wow, that really sucks that game got canceled." He's like, I think he said something to the effect of like, "Yeah, Logan, Logan Webb owes him a start now."
Yeah,
just
he owes him more than that after the performance he had tonight, by the way. But that's a whole nother story for another week.
Did he not pitch well today?
It was awesome.
Oof.
For Logan Webb, for what you're expecting, especially against Miami. But again, another story. Oh,
again, Josh,
how do you feel about this particular point? I mean, I know how you feel about your own team now, but what do you think as far as Josh going forward?
That is a really fun team, and it's not hit all of its stride yet, but it is coming very quickly. When Jazz Chisholm finally figures it out in center field and with the bat, you're going to see a really dynamic team that Josh Haber's put together. But for right now, it's just sort of treading water, maintaining where it needs to be. Like he's gonna get hot in a hurry.
Yeah, it's Josh and Adam this week. We just covered Adam, and I really feel like this is just going to be just more of the same, just consistent management, watching what the other guy is doing. And it's just funny how that one started actually today with 2 pitchers pitching against each other with Dustin May and David Peterson. And it's been so fun so far. Like it really just everyone, like so many weird things are happening. And it's just funny also to me, just seeing these guys colliding, whether it's for the first time or you and Josh with renewed vigor. I mean, Josh is just a very different manager than when you've seen him in previous years.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I start off with Ari and Josh, two of the deep veterans we have here. Love to have that and love to come out of it right around 500 and go, all right, season's on. Let's go. Benji, I have a question for you, my friend.
Please.
How are you feeling about a 9-8 L?
Well, you never want to lose the week, but there's certainly such thing as a good loss. And although there are certain things that, of course, I could have done to change my luck and turn 1 or 2 stats in my favor, it wasn't meant to be. And I think I played almost as well as I could to get me close, which does not count in anything but horseshoes, and I guess darts. But at the same time, I also know that winning is most important in the playoffs and when you're getting close to there. Right now, I'm just trying to tread water. And I think that's kind of what I did here. But how about the man that actually got the W? I'm not taking anything away from this guy that played his ass off, who's a pediatrician trying to run a clinic at the same time, who ditched his money league because it's all about the bigs for him now. I mean, I tip my cap and I prostrate to this man who was the better man this week.
Let's talk about what he did to you this week. On Sunday, he had a 5-run lead and blew that out of the water. You had a 1 triple lead and a 3 homer lead. We're going to talk about that later. You had the steal lead and 2 strikeouts. You took care of those. Errors remained tied. You had the one. Bryan had the 1 loss lead and maintained that along with the save. Homers were tied, however, and Bryan gave you that one. And he maintained the walks, and you guys stayed tied in relief appearances. But relief appearances is a fun one that we'll talk about here in a minute.
Sure.
Close categories, Ben, you won by the steal, you won by 2 walks, and you won by the home run. Lebo wins with the loss, the save, and 3 walks given up by a pitcher. You guys tied in triples, homers, errors, and relief appearances. If I were to tell you that Ben Nisman would be tying someone in relief appearances in week 2, I think it would be a surprise.
Especially because I lost the first week in that category.
There you go. So he's winless thus far. For your bench this week, Benjamin, is what I have first. So you have with Sunday and without Sunday.
Okay.
So Sunday, you benched everybody but like 3 guys. So the without Sunday is 10 for 37.
Okay. 268, 272.
It's 270. It's 270. 5 runs, 6 doubles, 3 RBIs, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Unless you got all 6 strikeouts in, none of it plays. Sunday also doesn't play. You're 8 for 32, which is a perfect quarter. The 2 doubles, the RBI, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts. None of that plays either. Your moves this week. You dropped Alec Thomas for Nick Martinez. 6 innings, 2 bombs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 4.50 ERA to 1.33 WHIP. You dropped John Curtis for Zach Kelly. 2/3 of an inning, a walk, a strikeout, a 27 ERA, a 4.50 WHIP, and a relief appearance. But I will defend this kid. He walked a dude, and then on the 3rd batter he was facing, he blew his arm out and is probably set for Tommy John at this point. Like, he was crying. He was in so much pain. And the guy behind him gave up all that stuff. So it's unfortunate, and I hope nothing but the best for that kid. I can't believe I watched that happen. You dropped Hector Neris for Kike Hernandez at 3 in the morning. 0 for 4 with an RBI that day. You dropped Zach Kelly for Colin Holderman, an inning, a walk, 3 WHIP, and a relief appearance. You dropped Zach Thompson for Jesus Aguilar, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. You then dropped Jesus Aguilar the next day for John Curtis with an inning and a relief appearance. Dropped Colin Holderman for Caleb Ferguson, 2/3 of an inning, a 2 strikeout relief appearance. But it was on the next day. You had to hold him a day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dropped John Curtis for Logan Gillespie, who was awful. He took the loss and didn't get anybody out. He was awful. Dropped both of those guys for Amir Garrett and Joe Jimenez, neither of which made it into the game. This is all on Sunday. Dropped Randall Grichuk for Jonathan Hernandez, 2/3 of an inning, a walk, 2 strikeouts, a 150 WHIP, and a relief appearance. That is the 20th relief appearance because you dropped Jamison Tyon for Dane Dunning, another reliever, and he didn't even make it. Key players this week for you, Benjamin. The Rangers didn't do you terribly. Nathaniel Lowe, 286 with a 348, 5 runs, 4 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs, 2 walks, and only 1 strikeout. The least valuable hitter, I will just give it to the Jesus Aguilar play because though Kike had hit 143, he stole you a bag. Though McNeil hit 125, he stole you a bag, and those are important when you win it by 1.
Yeah.
So Taijuan Walker is the Cy Young this week. 6 innings, a 1 win, 1 earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a 1 WHIP. The Cy Young is Pierce Johnson.
Waka. The answer is Waka.
Okay, you want Waka instead. 4 1/3.
No. I'm curious. It was
going to be Pierce Johnson with the 2 relief appearances and a loss. Like the fact that you
relief
lost
appearances were needed.
The relief appearances were needed, and he could have gotten you a save in one of these, and you could have tied that category. And then you
I don't
don't
know
have
if
a
he was
60,
in a
20.
save. One of them, he was not in a save situation. I know they brought him in a tie game,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure it was the same circumstance. I don't think he blew a save, Joe. So like,
No,
it's just that was all circumstantial. I wasn't generating any opportunities to get saves this week. The fact that like my team only got 2, it's ridiculous. But no, the answer is Waka, because everything was steered in a good direction. I believe it was Friday when I had a great start from Nestor Cortez and Taiwan Walker, and those had happened already, and I'd gotten a win and I think a loss or a no decision from Nestor, probably no decision. But either way, I didn't need to go with Waka and try to roll the dice with like a third time that night. At the same time, I'm thinking, you know what? He might be good. It's the Padres. They should be hitting the shit out of the ball. Maybe it gives him some confidence. Martinez didn't pitch too badly, so it made, and there was a slight thought to bench him, but I was really going to go for it regardless. So, I mean, he screwed me.
All right. On the other side of the coin, Bryan on his bench this week, Benjamin. 7 for 18.
That's firstly, that's not. I guess he had a really small bench. Somewhere between 400 392. I don't know.
389. He missed it by 3. 4 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 2 RBIs, a steal, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So it's one play. The play is on Saturday, and the play is Bryan Hayes. Bryan Hayes on the bench here gets the homer and the steal in a matchup in St. Louis and pick the spot, I guess. Marte with the 1 for 3, and you move him. I guess that's got to be it. But that's literally the only spot where the homer and the steal, and those are the 2 categories that he's closest in.
Yeah, I don't know if you're necessarily doing that for Marte.
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's where it is.
No, I get it. Yeah.
His moves this week. He dropped Ryan Feltner for JP Sears. 5 innings, a loss, 2 bombs, a walk, 4 strikeouts, a 540, and an 080. He then dropped Dick Mountain. He dropped Andre Jackson for Genesis Cabrera, an inning and 2/3, 3 strikeouts, and a relief appearance. He dropped JD Davis for Taj Bradley. We talked about that one, and I said, ooh, that's really sneaky. 5 innings, a win, a walk, 8 strikeouts, a 540, and a 120. It was nice. It was nice. He drops JP Sears. He adds Brian Anderson with a 1 for 4. He added Tanner Banks that I don't think I ever saw that guy get into the game. Dropped Brian Anderson for Evan Longoria, 1 for 3 with a run, a walk, and an error. He dropped Evan Longoria for Steven Matz, which appears to have been a bluff. I would like him to confirm that. Steven Matz then gets dropped for Jason Hayward, an 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. On Sunday, he goes ham, drops Tanner Banks for Phil Bickford, Chris Martin for Jason Hayward, added Sam Hilliard, 0 for 3 with a run, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Christian Bethancourt, 1 for 5, a run, a bomb, 3 RBIs, and a strikeout. And added Hector Neris, an inning, a homer, a strikeout, a 9 ERA, a 1 whip. But that 20th relief appearance to tie that category. He gets the bomb from Bethancourt on Sunday. He gets the triple from, who did he get the triple from, Ben?
He got the triple from Bryan Hayes.
He got Bryan Hayes into the lineup there for the triple.
But you did forget to mention Harris's gave up the bomb as well, which is a big
Harris
thing.
did give up the bomb, which is the bomb that he loses this category to. Huge. His key players this week. We're going to start with his first round pick. It is Trey Turner, 379 with a 455 on base percentage, 9 runs, a double, 2 RBIs, 2 steals, 4 walks, and a strikeout. The least valuable hitter this week is Ketel Marte. 076 with a 176, 3 runs, a walk, and a strikeout. The Cy Young goes to Ryan Helsley, 3 1/3, 2 saves, a walk, 6 strikeouts with 3 relief appearances, all clean with a 150 whip. The Cy Yuck is Kyle Wright, 3 innings. I guess that's 4 earned to make it a 12 ERA with 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a 2.67 whip. Benjamin, it's your matchup, man.
Well, I obviously felt like when you give me the stats of what was left on the bench and what didn't play and what did play, so far I'm feeling a little bit better than I did going in. I kind of felt like that was the case, but I just wanted the assurance, and now I got it. Obviously, this all came down to Sunday, where I believe we were 8-8 going into Friday, and then we were 9-9 going into Sunday, or maybe we were 10-10 going into Friday, but this was just knotted up most of the time, and it was a great battle, and it was a privilege and a pleasure playing against him, because I knew that he was going to be playing hard every single day, which he did. He used all the ads. He was trying to pick out different categories. 3 bombs on Sunday and the triple is what drove me nuts, because that usually does not happen, especially because he had only hit 3 going into Sunday. So then he just matched it on the final day. That's a little ridiculous and not expected. And it's not like if I played any of my guys, it would have mattered, because none of my guys hit a home run anyway. But it's still like, wait, what? You know, Chris Taylor? Okay. Like Vinny, okay, Vinny is his guy, fine. He picks one out. You know, a lot of us, you know, we stream it, boom, it works, you know, and it's amazing when it happens, and I give him so much credit. But then, oh my God, also Taylor and also Bryan Hayes, the triple on a Sunday, the triple to tie it is, I mean, we've all gotten hit with a triple on Sunday that tied the category or won the category. Like, we've been there, you know, we've all been there, and it's so frustrating. But I'm so happy for him, because he was so pumped about it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it was great.
Texting me all Sunday, like texting me all day. Every time something came, he was like, I bet that Chris Taylor homer hurt Benji. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, and it was like he was trying to wish me luck, and I was trying to bench my players, and I was like, I wanted to talk to him, but I was also trying to play a strategy, you know?
Mhm.
So I did what I had to do to at least get myself close. And it was kind of a bummer that I was firing on all cylinders, basically on the relievers I picked in would come in the game. Like the day I picked them up, I go with 2, they both came in the game. And I was matching him, even though I wasn't able to fill up a full bullpen, because I've been still keeping a deeper bench than usual. I've been still keeping a deeper rotation than usual. So I was going with only 5 out of 6 possible. Well, I had the 5 reliever, and the P is empty, or one of the RPs is empty, but I was just flipping them out, and I was doing all right. And then finally on Sunday, I ran out of steam, going for Amir Garrett, and who's the character on the Braves that I picked up?
Joe Jimenez.
Right, and neither one of them got in. I'm like, okay,
Nope.
let me go for 2 more just to try to tie that category or win it. Got close. At least I got one of them in. Yeah, and that validated dropping those players, because I was like, okay, like 1 out of 2 come in. I tied a category as a result, so it was worth it. It was nice seeing Hector Neris give up the home run at least, because then you feel again a little bit more vindicated that it's like, okay, a little bit of luck went my way this on Sunday, because everything was going. I mean, what the hell did he hit on Sunday? Like, what did I challenge him to do, and he did?
He certainly crushed it. I don't have it in front of me. I was getting.
I'll do it right now. God damn it!
Handle your business there, Benji. He crushed it on Sunday. I know he did, because he was talking about it to me all day. 3 homers for Bethencourt and Chris Taylor, and who was the 3rd homer?
It was Vinny Pasquantino.
Vinny P. Former
9 for 26, 10 runs, a double, a triple, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, no steal, thank God. 6 walks, 6 strikeouts, but the 346 and a 455. That's
Yep,
what I did. That's that's what I walked into.
That's the Sunday. That
So,
is the Sunday.
and it's just, that's the second Sunday that I've had to endure this, because the Sunday prior,
Which
if I may
came
for a moment,
absolutely.
it was Sunday the either
That would have been Sunday the 9th, sir.
okay, bear with me. Tuesday, one more. Okay, so this is what I got from James McCloskey. 273, 25, 7 runs, 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, stolen base, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Not as bad, but still.
But listen,
That's
Ari, you got to hit 3 bombs on Sunday because that's like the thing that's happening to Benji every week now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Run into and a lot of RBIs. So,
Yeah.
all right. I mean, hey, this is not a big deal. If I'm 4 down from James and 1 down from Bryan, that's a -5 going into the third matchup. We got 20 more of these to go. I'm feeling fine. Again, I was down 11-7 and 15-4 in 2019. Ended up in the first place spot. This is definitely more about Bryan winning this matchup and how he needed to kind of get off the schneid there after the first loss. So he's on the winning side of this one, and he just needs to continue to do what he's doing. If he continues to play like this, he's going to be in a good spot, and he should have a competitive summer.
No doubt. No doubt. And, you talked a moment ago about the luck sort of breaking your way with Hector Neris. Also, Phil Bickford not getting into the game on Sunday is really important, too.
And him not getting a stolen base.
Yeah. Yeah. Just those couple of things. Keep it 9-8, and you're able to just say, okay, cool. I'll see you again in August or whenever, and we'll do this again. Benji, let's dive into the managers of the week. I kind of skipped over that last week, and as soon as we came off the air, you were like, "We forgot that." Yeah, we did. Yeah. All right, so let's throw week 1 out there quickly. Your number 3 manager of the week for week 1.
Got to go with Bobby here. The way he on Sunday decided to bench his guys and went out on strikeouts and a couple other things. That was just a smart decision by a guy that has not been playing nearly as long as Sherman. Bobby joined in 2018. He gets better by the week. You know what he did this past week. Now he's in second place. Bobby's doing great things out here, and this was just an example.
I'm going with Adam Lowenstein getting his first win since 2005. Congratulations. You got the number 3 spot from me. And a really nice week. That offense just did not quit in week 1. Benji, who's number 2?
Number 2 was a very, very difficult one for me, Joe, because the way that I got beaten by James, I all of a sudden was just like, oh, wow. That came out of nowhere. It's not an easy one, but I got to go with
You sure?
Yeah, Matt Loosee. Gonna go with Matt Loosee here.
I have him at 2 as well. It's a really strong take first place kind of dump trucking on Frank, and it's the kind of win you don't expect coming. And when you look at Matt Loosey's team, I'm playing it right now. It's a hell of a lot. Like, it is completely different than what you saw last year. And I think the statement win there alone gets him in the top 3. Yeah. I just have him at 2 because the guy that I have at 1 beat, in my opinion, a better opponent, and there's a story attached to it.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. I'm going with Costas Faragas as my number 1. Obviously, they were both playing shorthanded here. I mean, Mike is down on a few injuries. He's playing with 24 guys at a certain point. So is Costas. You know that he's got the suspended player with Tatis, and he's still going out there playing by the score, playing each day. Both of these guys are teachers. They have these challenging schedules that they're trying to get fantasy baseball in the middle of. And this guy was teaching the best lesson here. Costas Paragas, he's my number one from last week.
I'm starting to wonder whether or not Costas might have Mike Haber's number. There's a playoff win there. There's a couple of wins that Costas has at this point. I'm not saying that it's a thing, but like
no,
this,
you're right.
This first one is important. This first one is important.
Yeah, and like you said, this is the third time I think now that he's beaten him.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move to week 2 because week 2 changes everything. The manager of the week for this week, number 3, Ben Nisman.
You know, it's hard not to say that Bobby should find his way in here for the way that he played. I know that he wishes that he grabbed a couple of extra stats with decisions that he made. I'm sure you get more of that on the other show. I'm going to go with Bryan Lebo, Joe, because the way that he played against me with the relief appearance, that the way he managed with his bullpen, that he kind of had me on the ropes most of the time. I felt like I was always trying to come back in some way with pitching. I thought I had him down like for good offensively, and then he hits 3 home runs against me. I felt like I played as well as I could, and this guy still did everything he could to win the matchup. The Phil Bickford, even though he doesn't get into the game, still, like, that was the right decision. Maybe you go instead of Hilliard, maybe you go for another reliever there, but it filled the bullpen at that point, so
yeah,
I can't criticize it too much. I mean, I walked into a very, very tough manager, maybe a team that my team was superior to, but in this case, the management by Bryan, to me, put him over the edge.
My number 3, I just got done saying that maybe Costas has Mike Haber's number. We're going to have to see what another couple of matchups will do. And this will be over another couple of years. We have to see this. Like, you don't own somebody until you have like 4 or 5 years of consecutive like domination over somebody. Now, that being said, I'm starting to also wonder if Mike Haber might have Frank Bucco's number, because this was a hell of a comeback victory. Frank was very happy with how his team was performing, and it just sort of lost steam toward the end, and Mike Haber picked it up. The guy made the things happen, and that's just what Mike Haber does. We see it year in and year out, that when you think you've got him, we just don't squash that bug, do we?
No, that's a good point.
So for that, Mike, you get number 3 for me. Benji, who's your number 2?
Well, in this case, I'm going to go with Jason. I just felt like to take down Costas after the week that he put up against Jason's co-host, I thought that was really impressive. A 9-8 win that kept on going back and forth, and I think that there was just a little bit of better play day to day from Jason. So,
well done, boys. My number 2, for all of the reasons that you talked about, I have Bryan Lebo here, because that Sunday, 2 out of those 4 don't work. 3 out of your 4 didn't work. So he won Sunday. He wins it by 1. Lebo, keep kicking that ass, man. The passion is what we're loving here. Keep texting me every day of Sunday about how you're beating people. I love it. Number 2 for him. Number 1 this week, Benjamin. Who is it?
Yeah, I got to go with Mike Haber here, Joe, because of the comeback. He was down 15-4 basically all week. How the hell he managed to flip that around and come away with a win? It came down to Marcus Semien having 2 clutch hits to flip batting average. I just don't know how he does it, but you can hold him down for 3, 4, 5, 6, but to beat Mike Haber the 7th day and finish the job, we know there's been too many guys that have tried to do it and have not been able to. I am one of them. He's just done it to so many guys. So very, very frustrating loss from Frank, but he shouldn't hold his head too far down because he only lost by 1, and he played very well this week. He was just playing such a tough guy.
Absolutely. You said when we started this little segment here that you'd love to find a way to get Bobby Russo. I got Bobby at 1. I got Bobby at 1. This is the kind of win I need to see Bobby have, and I need to see Bobby put together wins like this because we know that Bobby, for whatever reason, seems to always put teams together that gravitate toward the middle. He'll take a good win, he'll take a bad loss, and then he'll have 9-9, 9-8, 10-8, things like that over and over and over again until I need to see another one of these. But this is a great one to have this early, and it catapults him up the standings. I really want to see him put together a great year. Half game out of first, Bobby, go get that first place this week. Go get it.
It is absolutely in his grasp, and you might be seeing an amazing season, like one of those seasons from Bobby that we're like, okay, this guy is definitely a playoff team, where he's usually always in the race. I know that 2021 was really tough for him, like that he was pretty sour about coming so close and not being able to get in. He does have that one playoff appearance in 2019. That's not too far long ago. So you know that this guy is he's getting better and better every single time he plays. He'd probably tell you what he has learned. So you're seeing it now for sure.
Love it. Love it. Benji, we've got 2 weeks in books, man. Can you believe we are already into week 3?
Yeah, I in a way I can, in a way I cannot. And it's just been awesome matchups the whole way through. In fact, Henry had Garrett Cole versus Matt Loosee had Garrett Whitlock. How often on Sunday do you have Garrett versus Garrett to decide so many stats? There's been so many weird things that have happened. On a more serious note, I just wanted to say that Jason didn't have to do a show today, and he wanted to do it for us. And he's going to be going to California in the next few days to see his Aunt Karen for the last time. And he doesn't know that I'm saying this, but I wanted to say that I'm here for him. I know many of the guys are, and I just think it's amazing that, he didn't have to do this, but he took that time and he wanted to do that for us tonight. So I just appreciate it so much. I love him. I love you, Jason, and I love this league, and I love what we've put together here and made this fraternity, this group that it is. It's just an incredible community, and we're here for each other. And we're here for you.
I can't close any better than that. Guys, until next time, it's been real, it's been fun, and it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.